Corsica isn't usually the place people look when they're hunting for affordable property. Most assume it's as expensive as the French Riviera. But while searching current listings, I came across several homes across the island starting around 80,000 euros. Not abandoned ruins, not fantasy restoration projects, but actual houses described as livable right now in small towns and mountain villages. So in this video, I'm going to show you 7 properties in Corsica that most buyers overlook and how much they're really selling for at the moment. Some of these are simple village homes, others sit in surprisingly beautiful locations. And a couple of the later listings seriously challenged my expectations for prices on this island. Let's take a look at the first one and see what your money can buy in Corsica right now. Let's zoom in for a second. France, Mediterranean coast, then southeast, past the Riviera, past Nice, and there it is, the island of beauty. Haute-Corse to the north, Corse-du-Sud curving south. We're jumping between both departments today, village hillsides to beach access apartments because the deals are scattered, and that's what makes this interesting. The game here isn't just square meters, it's life for this money. It's light, it's air. It's whether you step outside and hear the sea or smell the maquis. 7 properties, 1 continuous escalation. Let's go. Property number 1, 82,000 euros. That's $94,000. And we're opening in Santa Lucia de Moriani, Haute-Corse. Tucked into the eastern flank of Cap Corse's lower stretch, Santa Lucia de Moriani is a small hillside commune where the mountains drop sharply toward the Tyrrhenian Sea. The air carries pine resin and salt in equal measure, and the village pace feels genuinely unchanged by the modern world. Now, the exterior picture here is classic Corsican village. Terracotta rooftops, green hillside behind, that amber and white facade that you'd pay 3 times more to photograph in Tuscany. The listing describes a 31 square meter apartment. That's 334 square feet, or about 48,000 square inches, with 1 room. Fast interior, a living space, a kitchen area, and a bathroom. Compact. But in Corsica, compact is what keeps the price in 5 figures. According to the listing, it's described as ready for use. No mention of works, no ruin framing. And for $82,000 on a Mediterranean island, that framing matters. And the best part is, this is your entry point, your foot in the Corsican door. For the price of a decent secondhand car in London, you're looking at an island address. Listings at this level move fast, so always check the documents and fees. But we're just getting started because number 2 already shifts the profile entirely. 91,500 euros, $105,000. And now we're looking at a house. An actual house in Castellare di Corsica, still in Haute-Corse. The Corsica area sits on a hillside belt between the mountains and the east coast. Villages with views, quiet roads, the kind of place where your neighbors have been there for generations. Exterior impression. A standalone structure, not an apartment block, with the rough stone and render character that defines this part of the island. The listing describes 31 square meters, 334 square feet, or around 48,000 square inches, with 2 rooms. That's the same footprint as number 1, but 2 rooms in a house format. That matters. You get walls between you and the outside world. You get your own entrance and you're in a village with real community around it. According to the listing, described as a house for sale, no renovation red flags noted. It's not a museum, it's real life. And for $91,000, that's a real Corsican house. But here's the teaser. Number 3 takes the same price and puts you 5 minutes from the beach with a pool. The leader is already changing. Picture the east coast of Corsica, flat beaches, turquoise shallows, the kind of sand that puts the French Riviera slightly to shame and costs significantly less to sleep near. That's Linguizzetta, a low-lying coastal commune stretching along a narrow strip between the lagoon of Diane and the open sea. Linguizzetta is one of those places that feels like a well-kept secret. Long, sandy beaches, shallow, warm waters, and a landscape that belongs on a postcard that nobody's printed yet. 91,500 euros. Same price as number 2. and the listing tells a completely different story. A one-bedroom apartment in a residence with a swimming pool, just 5 minutes from the beach. The layout, a living room and kitchen together, a bedroom, a shower room, and a terrace of 6.79 square meters. That's 73 square feet, or just over 10,500 square inches. That terrace is small, yes, but it's a terrace on a poolside residence 5 minutes from the Med. The listing presents this as a complete move-in ready unit. Living room, kitchen, bedroom, shower, terrace, pool access. Actually move-in too, no major renovations listed, and the complex does the heavy lifting on the lifestyle side. And the best part is, you're paying the same money as a Hillside house, but gaining beach proximity and a shared pool on a Mediterranean island. For a holiday base, a rental asset, or a slow life relocation, that math works. Don't click away though, because number 4 is the wild card on this list, and it might be the most surprising value so far. Quick breath of Corsican atmosphere. The East Coast here gets around 300 days of sun annually. The roads are emptier than the mainland. The nearest major airport from Linguizzetta is Bastia Poretta, under an hour. Expats and remote workers have been quietly discovering this corridor for years, and prices are still, for now, dramatically lower than equivalent spots on the Côte d'Azur. That context matters for what comes next. 93,000 euros, $107,000, and we're shifting completely. Ville di Parasol, Haute-Corse. Sitting high in the Boulogne interior, Ville di Parasol is the kind of mountain village that feels carved from the landscape itself. Stone walls, narrow lanes, sweeping views across the hilly interior, toward the distant glint of the sea, a place where the architecture isn't a style choice, but a centuries-old conversation with the local granite. This is a stone apartment, and not stone as in it has stone accents. Stone as in the building material, the authentic Corsican mountain village construction that architects on the mainland try to replicate at enormous expense. The exterior here is the wow moment. Raw stone walls, a village setting in the interior highlands, the visual weight of something built to last centuries. The listing describes 44 square meters. That's 474 square feet, or roughly 68,200 square inches, with 3 rooms. 3 rooms in a stone building for 93,000 euros. Fast interior. 3 separate spaces, meaning you can have a living area and 2 bedrooms, or a bedroom, a study, and a lounge. The layout gives you flexibility that the beach apartments don't. According to the listing, described as a stone apartment for sale with 44 square meters and 3 rooms. No renovation warnings in the framing. And the best part is, this is the space to price ratio winner of the list so far. 44 square meters, 3 rooms, authentic stone, Haute-Corse village character. If you want more finds like this, subscribe. The next region we're covering is even more under the radar. But right now, number 5 takes us somewhere completely different. Into the city, into a modern build, and up in price. For a very specific reason. 109,000 euros. $125,000. And we're in Bastia, Corsica's second largest city and the beating commercial heart of the north. Bastia wraps around a natural harbor with a layered old town rising steeply above the port, a Genoese citadel at its crown, and a working city energy that the more tourist-oriented towns on the island simply don't have. If you've landed on this island, you've almost certainly come through Bastia. It's the main port city of Haute-Corse. Real infrastructure, hospitals, shops, transport links to the mainland, a harbor, and an old town that has actual texture and life to it. This studio is located in a recent residence, modern build, not a village conversion, near the hospital and described as 5 minutes from the city center. 28 square meters, that's 301 square feet, or just over 43,400 square inches, on the second floor with an elevator. The interior, a bright main room functioning as living room and kitchen, fully equipped per the listing, a bathroom with toilet and storage for a washing machine. The terrace faces east, clad in exotic wood, and the listing specifically calls it beautiful, reversible air conditioning, aluminum windows with double glazing, electric shutters, intercom. These are modern comfort details that older village properties often lack. and the listing presents this as a functional, modern layout meeting current comfort requirements. That phrase is doing real work here. It's not a charming ruin dressed up in photos. It's a contemporary unit you could walk into and live in. No major renovations needed according to the listing. The deal kicker? Bastia, city access, airport proximity, rental demand from workers and visitors. And at 109,000 euros, you're buying into a working Mediterranean city, not an isolated village. For remote workers who need occasional flights or people who want urban convenience with island living, this is the one. And the best part is, we're not done because number 6 shifts to the south coast. It puts you beachfront for the first time, and the price might make you rewind. Let's interrupt for 10 seconds. Sari-Solenzara sits on the southeast coast of Corse-du-Sud, arguably the most dramatically beautiful coastline on the island. A small resort town where the Solenzara River meets the sea, it's flanked by white sand beaches, waters that shift from emerald to deep cobalt depending on the light, and a backdrop of the Alta Rocca Mountains looming in the distance. Clear water, long sandy beaches, the kind of stretch that travel magazines use when they want to illustrate the word paradise. Prices here trend higher in general, which makes the next listing genuinely surprising. 130,000 euros, $149,000. Sari-Solenzara, Corse-du-Sud. A furnished T2 apartment on the ground floor, approximately 36 square meters. That's 388 square feet, or around 55,760 square inches. Described in the listing as including a living room, kitchen, bathroom, separate toilet, a terrace, and a parking space. The complex has a secure swimming pool, and access to the beach and shops is described as on foot. Via a tunnel through the property according to the listing, the apartment is furnished. You're not starting from zero. 4 weeks per year are allocated to the buyer per the commercial lease structure. Worth confirming details on that with an agent, as listings like this move fast and the terms matter. The listing describes a view of the gardens, peace and quiet, and a location that's ideally situated. 36 square meters is not large, but it's on the ground floor, it has a terrace, it has parking, it has pool access, and the beach is on foot. In Sari-Solenzara, for 130,000 euros. And the best part is it's furnished, fully furnished, on the most beautiful coastline of the island. Comment below which one you'd actually pick, because we've had a Stone Village apartment, a city modern studio, a hillside house, and now a beach access furnished apartment on the southeast coast. But we have one more, and it's the one that stopped me when I was putting this list together. 142,000 euros, $163,000. Grosseto, Prugna, Corse-du-Sud. Positioned between Ajaccio and the Gulf of Valenco in the deep south, Grosseto Prugna is one of those communes that delivers on every Corsican visual cliché all at once. Maquis-covered hillsides, turquoise coastal glimpses, and a landscape that feels both wild and inhabited in the best possible way. And this is where the geography does something special. Grosseto Prugna sits in the south of the island, between Ajaccio, Corsica's capital, and its main international airport, and the Gulf of Valenco. 22 square meters, and that's 237 square feet, or about 34,100 square inches, with 2 rooms, according to the listing. Yes, that's compact. But the listing category is apartment with views. And in this location, views means you're looking at some of the most dramatic southern Corsican landscape on the island. The wow factor isn't square meters, it's what's outside the window. 2 rooms and 22 square meters means a sleeping area and a living area. Not generous, but according to the listing, it's a 2-room configuration, and in Corse-du-Sud, in this location corridor, that's a meaningful distinction. The listing describes it as an apartment for sale at 142,000 euros. No renovation works mentioned, curator phrasing applies, and the best part is, you're buying into the most connected part of the island. Ajaccio Airport is your gateway to mainland France and international routes. The capital city is your neighbor, and the views from Grosseto Prugna are, according to the listing, what you're paying for. For someone who wants maximum location prestige on a Mediterranean island and who doesn't need a large floor plan, This is the one that breaks the price per view calculation completely. Prices on this list are as selected at the time of this roundup. So if something catches your eye, you know what to do. Move fast, check all documents, and verify fees with a local agent. So let's land this. 7 properties, 1 island. And here's how I'd sort them. Best for beach access and lifestyle ready. Sari Solanzara. Furnished beach on foot, pool, done. Best for city infrastructure and modern comfort. Bastia. The studio with the east-facing terrace and reversible AC. Best space for the money right now. The Stone Apartment in Ville di Parasol. 44 square meters, 3 rooms. Authentic build, under $100,000. Best location prestige and views. Grosseto, Prugna. The smallest footprint but the biggest address. And if you're looking for the entry point, the lowest possible number to get a foothold on a Mediterranean island, Santa Lucia de Moriani at 82,000 euros is still, genuinely, the door. Which one would you actually pick? Drop it in the comments. Beach apartment, mountain stone, city studio, or southern views. And if you want to see what this kind of money gets you on the next island over, subscribe, because that video is already being built. The deals don't stop here.